So we're gonna bring this meeting to order at 6:02 on this Wednesday evening, May 17th. If we could start with a roll call, please.
Lauren Dowden,
Present.
David Shepherd,
Present.
Rachel Merrickwit,
Present.
Denise Jones, yes, Michael R. Miller,
Present.
Colleen Clemzak.
Present. Great, thank you. And if we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, if the board could review the agenda at your spots, I do have two amendments, and they are both in the action item area. The first is to add an action item to approve, the scholarships for the Mulcrone Scholarship applications. We have an item to discuss them, but we also will need to approve them, so that would be item J. However, we are also removing, we are amending the action item to approve the CMS improvement plan. We had a few questions just today from a board member, so we're gonna take action on that in June. We will still receive the report this evening though, about that. So it was J and now it's I, because, so we're gonna remove F. And we are going to add in the action item for approve the scholarships. Does that make sense?
So will that be F instead?
No, we'll add it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. No. It's really Denise that's
I know, I
gonna
was
be
just
very
I was trying to
unhappy with
cheat
me.
here.
It's still going to result to be an I.
Let's go.
So
It'll be
we'll have a total of 9, yeah, so I. Okay. Are there any other, those are just the ones I have, so are there any other amendments to be made? We covered them, right? Okay, so if I could have a first motion to approve the agenda with those 2 amendments to the action item area, please.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Michael, and a second?
I'll second.
Great, and a roll call.
Michael R. Miller.
Yay.
David Shepherd,
Yay.
Laura Dowden,
Yay.
Rachel Merrickwit,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes, Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. Motion's passed.
Motion
Thank you.
passed.
No, that's great. So on to our staff reports, please.
Great. So my first report for this evening is regarding registration dates and residency updates. So we are, of course, this is the time of year in which we're planning diligently for next school year. And we are specifically monitoring, right, Carrie Berry, our kindergarten numbers very closely.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to provide the board with updates regarding our pre-registration for kindergarten and our current incoming pre-K students who obviously are going into kindergarten. So you'll see at Northeast we have 46, Northwest we have 28, Southeast we have 47, and Southwest we have 37 for a total of 158 new kindergartners. I think a couple board members in here their kindergartners might be in there too, right?
Okay, very
Which is
good.
super exciting. So this is current enrollment that also includes our early childhood students, our preschool students that are transitioning. And as I just stated, we're closely monitoring sections to ensure that we maintain a low class size to make it applicable for learning in a kindergarten environment and more specifically at Northeast and Southeast. So that is our kindergarten update. Any questions on kindergarten enrollment at this time? Okay. Do you
We have no way of knowing.
It's just one of those things where I just say you roll the dice and you see what you get.
No way of knowing how all of that will roll out.
But I am very
Okay.
pleased. I think we did have a very good response this spring for kindergarten enrollment that has shifted over time that allows us to hopefully plan a little bit more appropriately for kindergarten sections and numbers.
A well-placed postcard.
Yes.
Seems like a pretty high turnout.
It is a high turnout.
Because that's what I was saying,
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. So I think those postcards were successful.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then we also have our returning student registration that is now open, and that was open as of April 24th. We are continuing with our clear batch protocols, and so that really allows for existing families who are current residents. They will receive a postcard in the mail. I clearly love postcards. And that
They
will
work.
Yes, they work, and they notify our families of if they are an existing resident, and then those parents do not have to go through a further registration residency verification process. It saved our registration office a significant amount of time, and it allows us as a district to really focus on some families that we might be questioning whether or not they are an accurate resident of Evergreen Park. And then we still have protocols that include any new move-ins would have to go through documentation and proof of residency. So that is current enrollment, and then we will also have open registration August 1st and August 2nd, and that's again just to demonstrate any documentation. Just another update too, we are really moving forward in promoting, right Dan and Eric, online payment. So there will be 2 different ways for parents to make online payment through RevTrak, which we previously discussed. And I think Dan might be planning another fancy video, if I heard accurately.
Nice.
So, to ensure that families know how to pay online for any registration fees.
That was new this year.
Yes, RevTrak was new
Based
this year.
on feedback from families, so
Yes.
thank you guys so much for doing that, and that's huge. Just streamlining, it's great,
Yes.
it's awesome.
Okay, my next update is our recommendation for staggered starts for next school year. So in front of you, you will notice that you have a staggered starts communication guide that was drafted and will go out to the community in the very near future. Staggered starts comes with a very clear recommendation as we reviewed safety protocols within the district as well as a focus on student attendance, specifically tardiness. So in the interest of school safety, we are recommending that students no longer linger outside of school property prior to the start of the school day, but rather go directly to their classroom upon arrival to be immediately welcomed and supervised indoors by their classroom teacher. And this school year, we've also found that tardiness is a consistent concern, and I don't think it's necessarily at the fault of any particular parent, but what we find is that a lot of parents have multiple students, and it's very difficult in Evergreen Park if school starts at the same time at Central as it does at our elementary buildings for a parent to then conveniently drop off their child at Central Middle School and then one of our elementary buildings. So as a result, we are making the recommendation to shift our start times, I would say minorly, from elementary and Central Middle School to accommodate our community. So our student day at elementary will start at 8:10. The tardy bell will ring effectively at 8:25 and dismissal will be at 2:55. Our student day for Central Middle School will start at 8:30. Our tardy bell will ring at 8:40 and dismissal will be at 3:15. We really worked, and I have to say thank you to the union and our administrative team. We worked very closely with our union to accommodate these times, and they also surveyed their staff to ensure that our union was on board with this transition, and we received pretty significant feedback that they are in favor of this shift, and it's really only a shift in their start time around 10 minutes either way, so not a big change whatsoever, but it again supports our parents and our community to ensure that they have that 20-minute gap in the event they have to drop off multiple students. And then we also will have, again, staggered starts on our late start schedule. So this chart just indicates what our late starts will look like. So doors will open at 9:10 at elementary and 9:30 at Central Middle School.
I've always wanted this. My
Well,
boys are no
great.
longer,
Your
no,
kids
my
are
boys
no
are no
longer
longer in the
here.
buildings. But it was always a challenge with a child at the middle school or maybe Project Tree or starting early, and I really do appreciate that. And I love that we just were able to shimmy it around a little. That makes a big impact, right? So, and that our teachers were okay with that, and it shouldn't be too much of an adjustment for our families, but 5 minutes here and 5 minutes either way
Yeah.
really does make a difference.
And hopefully hopefully you don't get stopped by 2 trains,
I was,
right?
I wasn't gonna bring up the trains, but it was in my head, because I think we all know trains are always in our heads in Evergreen Park, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really do, when this was presented, and it is a safety issue, like making sure that the kids aren't lined up too early or too late, and so it seems like a good solution.
Yes. I think we're all looking forward to it, so.
It's great.
And extended day still starts at 7.
An extended day still
Okay,
starts at 7.
see, there you go.
That was my,
Yeah.
one of my first questions.
yeah.
Look at that, Rachel, thanks, I'm really glad you read it. So yes, extended day will still start at 7 a.m. and then students who need access to breakfast will still be allowed to come into the building earlier as well.
Great.
That is it, thank you so much. Our next presentation is by Mr. Eric Percy.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
Nothing crazy happened with the expenditures over April, per usual. No unique expenses, just salaries and benefits were the main expenses. Revenue-wise, so we did receive another rather large tax payment from the state. This was also expected, and it definitely bumped up our revenues to be on track with where it should be at this moment. As a result of us receiving this tax payment and not having anything crazy with expenditures, our fund balances went up pretty decently. I would say maybe $3 million in the last month, which is a good thing. And yeah. Quick insurance update. We had an insurance committee meeting and we also got our renewal from our cooperative for next year. So all these would be effective starting in July for insurance, which means it'll start to go out of the staff's paychecks effective June to pay for July. And so PPO went up 9.4%. The average for the cooperative was 10.4%. HMO went up 9.5% and the cooperative average was 7.5%. And then life insurance was 0% increases. Now, I know these are large increases, but these are adjustments post-COVID. The logic with these high increases is that people opted out of certain surgeries during COVID because it was so hard to get into these hospitals and everything. So as a result, once COVID ended, everyone was getting their surgeries and all that, which, bumped up the price of everything. And as a result, they had to make adjustments to make sure that our insurance payments covered all the costs for the cooperative.
Would that number change in the near future?
So the hope is that there would be one more year where we would have rather large increases, hopefully not this high. And then after that, hopefully they have all their adjustments that were needed after COVID all figured out, and then it would just go back to the smaller increases. Yeah, because I would say a very good majority of the state's like school district insurances are around this number for increases. Any other questions on insurance? And then we had a FOIA and 2 open record requests in the last month. The FOIA was from Vince Espy of Local Labs that has been completed. The open record requests, the first one was from an Abigail Jacob from University of Kentucky that has been completed, and the other one was from Janie Jordan from Data Research Partners, and that has also been completed.
Great,
Thanks, guys.
thank you so much. Okay, next we have Dr. Carlson for Curriculum and Instruction.
A slew of things tonight under me. The first piece is decommission of outdated materials. So we completed multiple pilots this past year. So teachers are begging for things to be removed out of their rooms that we will not be using any longer. So that will include pilot items, then also with the adoption of the CKL Amplify, there's other materials that went along with school-wide that we'll no longer be using in the future, as well as some of our Jolly Phonics. We're transitioning to the CKLA foundational programs, and so the Jolly Phonics will be also something that we won't be using. So we're asking that you allow us to do a little bit of spring cleaning and we can get rid of some of these things that we won't need anymore. So that was one.
Where does it go?
We have in the past, last year was my first year with
I'm
this,
putting
and
you
I
on the
know,
spot.
no,
I
absolutely.
apologize, but it just
I know
thought, I
that,
just thought of it now. Sorry about that.
Debbie worked to set up something where there are people that will buy materials that we don't use, so it depends kind of on how dated those materials are, so we'll reach out to that company as well and see if we have anything that is of interest to them. We did a lot last year with some of our outdated like leveled readers and things like that, with trying to get those just in the hands of kids. So at a lot of buildings, they kind of left those out to try to kind of distribute those in that way. So we try to look for ways to kind of shift things around and then recycle whatever we are unable to get rid of. So
Like the repurpose.
yes,
Yeah.
we try that
Moving it
first.
around. I love it.
Absolutely.
Great, sorry, like I said, didn't mean to put you on the spot, but it
Absolutely,
just made me think, so thank you.
So the second thing I have is our Central Middle School School Improvement Plan. So if you remember back to October, we talked about the ESSA designations that are based on the many student populations that we have to ensure how we are servicing all of those student populations. We ended up with a targeted designation for our student group of limited English proficiency. And that, when we looked at what that was for, it was for ELA and math proficiency primarily, but then also the attendance was rather low in that area. So this was the targeted student group. So part of the process then is a continuous school improvement process. This is the requirements of the state that go along with, we receive grant funds for this, which help us to pay for some of these school improvement pieces that we want to do. So we identify our local needs. We did a needs assessment, plan for improvement, obviously select evidence-based practices and interventions, and then we'll implement and monitor the plan as we go. So it's important to understand, and I know that we've done a lot of work this year, particularly with Michelle Yanong, who is a consultant with the Illinois Resource Center, who works across the state, particularly with our multilingual students. That's kind of her area of focus. So we've been doing a lot with her this year, identifying needs across the district, and we recognize that we have many of them, and knowing that a lot of those needs and the programmatic improvements that we want to make across the board will absolutely impact Central Middle School without question. This plan really needs to address just Central Middle School. It won't let us necessarily speak to the things or pay for the things at the elementary schools that we are needing to do with the targeted designation, because they say this is the school that is targeted, this is the student group that's targeted. It wasn't necessarily the elementary schools or things like that. So in this plan, this is where our focus lies. So part of it, we will get additional grant funding for 3 consecutive years of implementation. They really want you to have this sustained change and sustained continuous improvement practice. And that is used to increase performance outcomes and then hopefully, obviously, have an exit status from that designation. So that was the work that we began to do this fall. These were the folks that worked with us. A whole list of stakeholders within the building, really trying to make sure that we were looking broad with all of the different ways that we can impact the student population. So we set about to have 3 goals. What we really recognized was, obviously, with our proficiency, we need to address these students in their ELA and math classes. So how can we best have impact for those students? One of the things that we recognized was we were having a hard time providing students with those supports within those classrooms. The structure of the classroom didn't necessarily allow itself for push-in services. Our bilingual certified teacher at Central Middle School would push in, and it was difficult for her to find opportunities to really be able to pull small groups or to have impact with those students that were in the classroom. So we want to take a look at that specifically. If you remember, we've adopted our Tier 1 high quality framework, which is this whole framework that we look at. We're really trying to impact high quality tier 1 instruction at the classroom level. And that's a tool that we already have, that our teachers are already familiar with, that we're already collecting data 3 times a year on how we are implementing that tool. So we really kind of started with that. What in our tool can we use that will help us to best move instruction forward for these students? And we looked at our component 1.5 of that, which is lesson planning structure. So this was the goal that we set about to accomplish. By the end of 2024 school year, lessons are intentionally planned in advance with a sequence of instruction which contains a lesson launch, whole group, small group portion with differentiation and a lesson closure. We want to make sure that we have all of those pieces in our block. So when our teachers look at their block, we want them to have a small group instruction portion of that block. It might not end up being every day, but if we could have that three times a week where teachers are teaching a small group, differentiated, we're gonna not only meet the needs of our ML students, but we're also going to meet the needs of tier 2 students that are in that classroom, that we're differentiating that. It will also allow for an opportunity for some structured time that those EL teachers can push into that classroom and provide additional supports for them as well. So by having that structure in place, we'll be better able to differentiate and provide interventions when necessary. So that was kind of the thought behind the goal. So our action steps for that, we're gonna review the framework with staff at the very beginning of the year, obviously. We're going to make sure that our school implementation team, those folks that are doing those walkthroughs 3 times a year, that they're really trained in what those look-fors are. What are they looking for when they're doing those walkthroughs to make sure that we are providing that sort of instruction. We'll do the fall learning walks. We'll provide professional learning to build capacity to do that intentional planning. We're really good at the launch. We're really good at that whole group. But sometimes at the middle school, we do a lot of small group work in elementaries, obviously, but sometimes at the middle school, we get away from that. And kids still need that small group instruction, those targeted skills. So we want to get back to that for them. So we'll continue with professional learning to build that capacity. We'll do winter learning walks, collect the data on that, provide additional professional development based on those trends that we recognize, and then also spring learning walks. So we'll continue to collect that data and have those conversations with teachers all throughout the year, as well as the job-embedded professional development with our instructional coaches. So that was goal 1. Goal 2, the next thing that we really noticed in our needs assessment was that we didn't have our EL students really intentionally scheduled at the middle school level. Again, we do a great job generally at the elementary level to really make sure that we're scheduling those students in a way that we can provide them supports, that they are in classrooms with our ESL certified teachers. At the middle school, it was kind of all over the map. And again, making it very hard to provide either co-teaching, push-in, or pull-out support. If we can make sure that that our students are in the classrooms where we know our Ms. Saucedo, who is our bilingual certified teacher, if she can push in a classroom and meet with a group of 5 kids, as opposed to having 1 in this ELA classroom and 3 in this ELA classroom, we want to make sure that we are intentionally scheduling them. So we're going to collect student data, which will be our access test scores as well as our teleassessment data. We will make sure that we have a criteria chart for where we're putting students, and Michelle's really working with us on that as far as what goes into designing that. And then we'll review that data and make sure that we are scheduling them based on that need. So we'll create the staffing schedule that goes along with that, and then be able to either provide co-teaching services within those classrooms or push in and pull out. And then our final goal is chronic absenteeism, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a minute. But we really noticed that our LEP students, that was what they call them, limited English proficiency, mental blank. We really noticed that that student population was the attendance. The chronic absenteeism scores were much higher for those students. We have about 36% is chronic absenteeism. And we know that we need students in school in order for them to learn. So we really want to focus our outreach there. We're going to design a survey for students and for families to kind of understand what the needs are and then put together a plan that we can address those needs. We are working across the district on student absenteeism and will be having more consistent communication on what that will look like across all of the buildings. So that will be for all of our students, but we really want to make sure that we're meeting family needs here as well. So that is our third goal. Any questions? We had a great team.
It's a lot of information.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is. I'm excited to see it happen.
Yes.
Um,
There needs to be focus, and I'm not sure that there has been quite that focus before for these students at Central Middle School. So really making sure that there's professional development that's gonna go along with all of this as well about interventions that classroom teachers can provide for these students and whatnot that I don't know that they've had before. So we just need to make sure that they're getting the attention that they deserve.
my only hesitation, and parents don't like to hear this in May, is I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited for these students and these families, but nobody wants to hear that in May.
Yes.
I don't wanna rush August. I know, but like, that's what that could be
Mhm.
a game changer.
Yep, it's exciting.
That's really great.
I think the small groups will help the students big time,
Yes.
that one-on-one individual contact.
I think it'll help all students. One of the things we've done a lot of work listening to our teams at Central and really this concept of intervention and what that can look like in a middle school setting, and recognizing that just by making this tweak to what their ELA block looks like or their math block looks like, and by incorporating these small groups multiple times a week, you really get to meet some of those intervention needs there like we haven't been doing before. So not only for our multilingual students, but also for our tier 2 and tier 3 students as well. So it'll help across the board. Anything else?
Thank you so much.
All right, next.
It's been a lot of hard work.
Yes,
October,
we've been
since you
doing
said
a
that,
lot.
I was like,
We've
oh
been
my
doing a lot.
gosh.
Handbook updates, so we also met on April 25th, really to look at the handbook. We've been having conversations with our admin team all throughout the year, kind of dissecting different pieces of the handbook. And then we met on April 25th. We had parents, teachers, support staff, administrators, everybody together. These were some of the things that we talked about. Staggered starts, which Dr. Woodland already referred to. We discussed attendance. This section, we really took a hard look at really throughout the school year, this concept of chronic absenteeism versus chronic truancy, which is something that the state really has put out there as a big thing. Chronic absenteeism counts as one of our pieces of that designation, so it is reported to the state every year what our percentages of chronic absenteeism, and we just really don't feel that that's something that's very common knowledge with our families as far as what the difference is between chronic absenteeism and chronic truancy. So we wanted to make sure that the handbook defined that. Chronic truancy is unexcused absences, and it's 5%. So if a student has 5, and I want to read this so that I can be clear, if a student has 5% of their days with unexcused absences, which would be 9 days. So the state defines it as a child who is subjected to compulsory school attendance laws and who is absent without valid cause from such attendance for 5% of the days. So we use 9 days or more of regular attendance, and that counts as chronically truant. Chronically absent is everything else. So chronically absent, the state defines as absences that total 10%, which would be 18 days or more of the school days of the most recent academic school year, including absences with or without valid cause. And And that's key and that's important to recognize. We know that kids are gonna miss school and there is absolute valid cause for students missing school. But we just wanna make sure that we're transparent with the fact that we then have to report that once they meet that threshold of 18 days.
And chronic absenteeism impacts our ESSA designation.
Correct, it is one of the indicators.
And it was a trend that we noticed across all 5 of our buildings. Chronic absenteeism, not truancy, chronic absenteeism impacted our ESSA designations.
Yes. And really, as far as the state is concerned, there is not a whole lot that is deemed as not affecting that. It's all of the reasons, any days that you're missing school, so.
Now, we don't want kids to come to school sick.
We don't, and we're very clear about that in
clear
the
in that.
handbook, that please keep them home for all of that entire long list of reasons.
Yes.
You know, we don't want kids to come to school sick, but we just wanna make sure that we're communicating, what that means, what the difference is between chronically absent and chronically truant, and you might get a letter for chronically absent. That doesn't mean your child is truant or that we're reporting anything to a truancy officer. We just wanna make sure that families are aware, and we have a very slick new Power School program that is gonna really help us support with the consistency of that communication that will help building principals and all of our teams to be able to keep track of attendance a little bit more easily. So that's fabulous. Cell phone usage, really the feedback from Central Middle School recommended cell phones to return to lockers, which I understand was the case previously. So they feel that will improve discipline issues, increase attention and focus in the classroom, reduce lots of often middle school drama that occurs with cell phones.
When did that change?
We're recommending it tonight.
Oh, it's like when you say
Yes,
return.
yes. We're gonna, so
It
this,
had been the
To the
case,
locker.
it had been the case that they had been kept in the lockers, that had always been what the policy was. I'm not quite sure when
I'm not sure
that
either.
shifted.
We are recommending cell phones in lockers.
Oh, that's what I thought it was.
Yes,
I always thought it was that.
might be. Dress code, we really just updated some of the verbiage to align with the IPA model handbook. Some of our language in the dress code was a little bit dated, so we made some minor updates to that. And then Title I, there are some specific things that we're really required to inform families of annually. So we felt that the best way to do that was just to include it in the handbook. So we added those two pieces, the parent right to know and then the parent involvement plan were added to the handbook. So those were the handbook updates that we are recommending. Any questions on those? Okay. Lastly,
It's the Dr. Carlson show this evening.
yes, our consolidated district plan, this is something that we approve annually. It really just, it's the first step to all of our grant work that we do. Many of the pieces of a federal grant are the same. You fill out kind of the same forms for all of them. So this is what the state puts out that allows us to put all of that information into one consolidated district plan, and then we don't have to do it repetitively for every one of the grants. So you had that super long document in your board packet that, you know, if you would like to read, you absolutely can. But the majority of it stays pretty consistent year after year. There's just a few minor updates when we're doing some different things with professional development or curriculum and things like that. We like to update those sections, but most of it stays pretty similar. Any other questions?
I think Ashley's ready for summer.
You know, it's May. I think that we just keep saying, it's May, it's May, it's May. So, all right, thanks so much.
Thank you for all your
Thank you
work,
very much.
Ashley. We appreciate it. Yes.
Ashley always comes.
What's that?
Thank you.
So, we are on to public comments. A few reminders specifically about the logistics for a public comment portion of every meeting, including this evening. As is posted on our agenda publicly for every meeting. To respect all of our stakeholders, our commenters, our board, our public, we adhere very closely to our 3-minute rule. For everyone, we still set a timer and we expect everyone to respect their 3 minutes. In addition, we do not respond to public comments at board meetings, but we absolutely hear them. And we respect, we listen to, and we take into account our community's members' concerns. And if there's a specific question that we need to answer, we will absolutely follow up with our commenter within the next couple days. So I just have one form here for Mr. Shorter.
Hello.
Mr. Shorter? Hi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lance Shorter. I'm a parent at Northwest Elementary School. Northwest Elementary School is in Duffy Park. We've had 2 incidents at Northwest in the past couple of weeks. One involved a substitute teacher, and we weren't made aware of what happened with the substitute. It was kind of like a parent chain that made us aware of the incident that happened in the school with the substitute. So my comment is, or my question is, what is the protocol for reporting such incidents? And also, in the future, is it possible that substitutes could have like a warm-up period where they come in and become acclimated to some of the classrooms that they cover? We know that there is a teacher shortage, and that could be a problem manpower-wise. But if there's a way that they can come in and make themselves familiar with the students to possibly make it more of a comfortable situation. The incident that occurred, I don't want to get fully into it because of disclosures or whatever, but it maybe could be alleviated with just the students knowing who the substitutes are. The second incident happened after school in Duffy Park about a week later. At about 4 p.m., there was a young man threatening violence in Duffy Park. A lot of our children play in that park after school. A lot of our older children, my older daughter, she's at Evergreen High, but she takes her younger sister to the park, or her sister may ask to play in the park until she comes to pick her up. Now, had my daughter not been in an after-school program at that time, she could have been exposed to that violence. So I just want to know what the protocol is, because we do have programs going on inside of the school, and our students are in the park at the same time. So we know the result of both incidents. So it's not about the result for the incidents. We just want to make sure that these things don't happen again. And that's my time. Thank you.
Communications listed first, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I will follow up on both, so thank you. Okay. It's hard getting up in front of people, so thank you very much. Great. Okay, so board reports. We have a new board, Arrow Board representative who attended her first meeting just this week. Are you ready, Ms. Jones?
Okay, they welcomed me, open arms, very
Awesome.
warm, and it was a very nice board meeting. They're the architect who presented a video of the progress that has been made between at that time, May 2nd and May 11th. The east and the west wings of the facility is almost complete. There was an issue with the flooring and the air conditioning in the gym area. The architect relayed that they're working on it and there were no major concerns. The target date remains the same, to be opened on September the 5th. So no worries with the minor issue. The main focus was to check We wanted to know about the money.
Yes.
We wanted to know about the
Check,
money.
yes, please.
And they relayed to us that the check has been cut, and we just wait on the controller to administer the funds to the township, to the township treasurer, and that's it.
That's excellent.
Easy as one, two,
I like those kinds of meetings. It was at Evergreen Park High School too.
Yeah.
Very convenient for your first meeting. I thought that was great.
It was good.
Wonderful. So 9/5 on schedule to open.
September 5th, yeah.
That's exciting.
Check cut.
Check cut, right?
The check is
Still
cut.
waiting
Like
on the
money
email.
guy. Check
Right.
cut.
What about the
Denise,
check?
money
We're
gal.
getting there.
Yep,
What about the
okay.
check? We're getting there.
That's what
So,
the
yeah.
school start versus the first day of school. You know what I mean, like that we start early?
No, they're on their own board
They're
approved
on their own,
calendar.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, good question.
It'll be interesting because the high school even starts early.
Well, because I was curious about that because,
Yeah.
you know, if we have a different start time.
Sure.
Right.
Good question. Okay. Thank you. Board committee assignments. Thank you all for your patience is the answer to that. So I shared the spreadsheet with everyone, the Google spreadsheet, Monday. I have made changes already, to that. So, just today, so these are the assignments so far. You can feel pretty confident about our committee so far, though obviously we are waiting for our 7th board member to be chosen and to join us before I make it all completely official. I did add a few updates, like I said, just today. David, if you're still willing to be our IASB Division's Governing Board Rep, that would be great. I know you offered. And so did Ms. Jones, and now she's all over the place too. So we're like, okay, let's spread the burden. It's not a burden, but you know what I mean. And actually tomorrow, we are speaking to, Dr. Woodland and I are speaking to our division rep regarding our Starting Right event, or meeting in on June 8th. And so I'll get any kind of information that we need for you for that. I know you had mentioned like an orientation or like things like that, so I will learn more tomorrow. And I will share all if you are willing. And I feel like I'm putting you on the spot, so if you need to, email me later and go, no, that's totally fine too. So yeah, I will ask that question tomorrow, if that's okay. And we do have a newly formed committee with our union, the
TLC.
TLC,
TLC.
I looked it up. Together, let's communicate. I wrote it down, thank goodness, because
Not
like Ashley's like moment, I had that like, what is TLC?
Many of
Ah,
them.
There's so many, but I really love that, and so I thought that needed to be added to
Yes.
that committee list as well, because that is absolutely something that we are, that's a district-wide, it's the union, it's administration, it's the board. So I added that today, and then we also, I know that from my board, I've heard of a couple suggestions to add committees recently in some of the correspondence that have gone back and forth, and that is absolutely something we can talk about at that June 8th meeting. So it's when we all get together for that Starting Right, and I will address that with our person tomorrow on that phone call. But yeah, what you guys have that I shared with is probably pretty close. So if you need to schedule ahead, but it is also almost the end of the school year, so committee work gets a little lighter too, so. Any questions, comments, jokes?
Jokes?
I shouldn't ask that. I ask that in other meetings. I shouldn't ask that here. Who knows what we'll come up with. Thank you. So yeah, I'm sorry for, it feels like it's been a delay, but I think we all know, like, we're close, we're really close. We'll get the rest of that done soon. And then the Mulcrone updates. This is the Judy Mulcrone Scholarship Update. I ambitiously thought that perhaps we would have this all done by the April meeting. We did not have this all done by the April meeting because of spring break. So at the April meeting, we had only heard from 2 of our students, and that didn't seem like a fair enough representation. And so we left it open a little longer, and now we have 12 recipients of the scholarship information or money, which is really, really great. I don't know about all of you, but I really enjoyed reading the applications. We have got some phenomenal students at the middle school. We've just got some phenomenal students, but it's nice to have these applications in front of us. And these are some kids that are just doing some really great things. So it's always a pleasure to be able to grant some wishes. Like I always, it's nice to have that magic wand every once in a while. So like I said, we had 12 different students that are every sport you can think of, and some I didn't even know that was a thing here. We've got some competitive skaters, we've got some, it's just impressive. It's really, really great. I really like it when the students nominate themselves too. Like, I love it, it's really great. So here is what I propose. We had quite the range of requests for funding. We had anything from $50 up to $2,000. And we don't get to do the $2,000. So my suggestion, my thought would be for the 12, if we could have an even amount for all of them, and up to a certain amount for the students that asked for less than that amount, and then that amount for those students who asked for more. I thought that would be probably the fairest thing that we could do, the most equitable, without making Eric Grossi pass out. So I'm not gonna grant $2,000 times 12. I won't do that to you, Eric, but what do we think?
Like the idea, are you asking amount wise?
Yeah, like, okay, so we had a range, we had a 425, we had a 700, we had a 2,000, we had a 1,200, we had a $50, we had a 135. I kind of had like 250 or 300
I thought you said like 250.
in my head, like,
But so if they requested 50, they get 50. If they requested,
yes.
that's what
I
you're
think we
trying to
actually only
say.
had one that was a 50
Yeah, I
and
think that
also
was-
2,500. Like
Yeah.
that was the,
A
so.
huge range,
But
yeah.
it was a huge range. But we had a probably 3 or 4 within the 100 to 200 range. We had a 250, we had a 425, so like I was thinking like 250, 300, somewhere around there for everyone, and then it could go towards whatever they were hoping to achieve. I'm open to whatever. Tell me.
I mean, if we have it, I mean, I would say 300.
I
I
was
mean,
gonna say the
it's,
same thing.
Aim high. We're
you know,
parents who
aim
put
high.
kids
It's-
in camps,
there's
right?
12
Like we
of
know how
them,
that goes.
Some, aren't asking for that much, and,
Yeah.
And that $50 can make a difference,
It can, yeah.
if they're gonna do it or not.
Right, decision making, I know parents, that was my goal with doing it in April, was I know
Yeah.
that that's when we always start registering our kids for things is in April,
You
but,
know, 'cause then it's always like, oh, we gotta wait, let's wait,
right, and we wanna
this
move
way
while we
it's,
can.
yeah,
So 300,
yeah,
okay, alright. We will act on that in a little bit, and then, what I will do tomorrow is I will email all 12 of these students and parents and say congratulations, and I know Ms. Hernandez made some very nice certificates for everybody. This is absolutely something that they should be able to, claim on the high school resume along the way too, because they really did need to, explain it and do the work that got them to this point, so I really think that's awesome. So I will do that, and then the follow-up will be emailing receipts and things like that to Sonia and to reimburse that way. Sound like a plan?
is Eric looking at us like it's?
I don't know. Is he glaring at me?
I don't know, I couldn't tell.
No, I think we're good, okay. I promised him earlier I wasn't doing the 2,000 times 12, so I think as soon as we cleared that up, he was probably a little bit more amenable. I'm just glad that we had more students too.
Yes.
I didn't want to delay, but I'm really glad we did, because we've got 12 students who now get to receive that little boost.
Yeah.
And a little boost is nice to do, so very cool. Okay, so on the behalf of all of us, I will send those emails tomorrow, and we will take action on that in the consent agenda portion. Cool, all right, thank you. Okay, what else did I agree to? Okay, no. If there's nothing else, we can move on to our consent agenda, our action items. So consent agenda, our action items, consent agenda. Item 1 is to approve the monthly transaction reports for April of 2023. Number 2 is to approve the fund balance reports for April of 2023. Number 3 is to approve expenditure report and projected payroll report for May of 2023. Number 4 is to approve the board minutes from the special/organizational meeting of May 3rd, 2023. And number 5 is to approve the destruction of closed session tapes from January of 2019. In addition, we have the personnel recommendations. We have 10 additions. We have 2 FMLAs for this spring and also next fall. We've got 2 resignations with intent to retire. And then we do have 8 resignations, some of which have already been filled with our additions. So if I could please have a first motion to accept our consent agenda as listed.
I'll make the motion.
Great. And a second.
I'll second.
Awesome. And a roll call, please.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Laura Dowden,
Yes.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Mike Miller.
Yay.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. Motion's passed.
Motion passed.
Thank you very much. Action item B is to approve our DEI coordinator. If I can have a first motion, please,
Make the motion.
and a second,
I'll second.
and a roll call.
Mike Miller.
Yay.
David Shepherd,
Yes.
Laura Dowden,
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin,
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Action is approved.
Nice. Do you want to take a moment?
Yes. I would love to introduce our newly appointed DEI coordinator by the name of Amanda Hattar.
Hello and welcome.
So we had a wide pool that came to us for this newly created position, and Amanda just really rose to the top. Her passion for inclusion and equity just was shining through in all of her answers, and her ability to work with all students and really be a strong member of our administrative team, sitting at the table, advocating for equity in everything that we do. And so I'm really excited to welcome her to our team today. If you'd like to stand up and introduce yourself. And of course, we have swag, because that's what we do here.
You may not know this, but we always
And we take
swag and cupcakes.
and we take pictures, and we have cupcakes to celebrate tonight. Isn't that great?
That's awesome. I like swag. So,
Good.
I'll just stand up. Oh, my jacket.
You're hooked.
Oh,
There
here
you
we
go.
I don't know. Everybody's been standing here, so maybe I should stand over here.
3 minutes. You got 3 minutes. It's just the way it goes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda.
Welcome.
I first and foremost really want to thank Dr. Woodland, Ms. Patricia Roberts, Dr. Carlson. They have been so welcoming, and it's just made this experience so lovely right off the bat. So a little bit about me. I've been in education for almost a decade at this point, which to me seems like, I'm like, okay. I've spent my majority of my time at Ridgewood High School, so I've been mainly doing that, a little bit in Lamont, but I'm really excited to transition from that into a role like this. And the thing I think that excites me the most is being able to work with all of you, the parents, the community members, business leaders in the school to be able to, or in the community, to be able to provide our students and our kiddos with the right resources. So that's what makes me the most excited. So thank you all.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you so much.
You're gonna take a picture of me.
No,
That's-
you gotta stand. Nice
Right
try.
back up.
Yeah.
And we have some swag for you tonight.
Thank you.
Gonna start
Right,
going.
your Evergreen Park swag, absolutely.
And we're all gonna take a picture. Yes, and
Always, always.
no, you're in the middle.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just have a throw.
Yes, that's me.
Sorry, Colleen.
Oh, gosh, that's all right. I think everybody knows who I am.
There's no Claudia to get you
guys all.
I know.
I know.
Maybe she'll come to meetings just for kicks. Maybe not. Yeah, I know. Who does that, right? She's like,
No.
oh, geez.
Outside.
You have to know too that I always jump the gun and I'm like so excited that we forget to like accept to do the whole roll call thing. So I'm very proud of myself. I actually reined it in tonight and did not get too enthusiastic until it's actually time to welcome you. So again, welcome. That's wonderful. Is there anyone else here?
We have one that is here, Marianne Ward is here. She is our newly hired certified bilingual teacher for Northeast.
Fantastic. Yay.
And she's from Evergreen, which is even cooler, so yeah, we're pretty thrilled with that.
That's great. Well, welcome.
Well, welcome. Yes, we are so excited to have you.
You get cupcakes too.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
our
Oh,
team. We
that's great.
appreciate it.
Wonderful. Okay. I will get back to business. So item number C is to approve our nurse coordinator effective August 7th of 2023. If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll first.
Thank you. And a second?
A second.
And a roll call.
Denise Jones, yes. Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Michael R. Miller. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. Motion's passed.
Motion's passed.
No, you're doing great. Item number D is to approve our summer school staff. If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Great, thanks, Rachel. And a second?
Second.
And a roll call.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Michael R. Miller.
Yay.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. Motion's passed, thank you.
Motion's passed.
E is to declutter. What I do, where I live. E is to approve the decommission of our surplus materials. If I may have a first motion, please.
I'll first.
And a second?
Second.
And a roll call.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Michael R. Miller.
Yay.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. Motion's passed, thank you.
Motion's passed.
Our newly adjusted item number F is to approve the parent and student handbook for the 23-24 school year. If I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Rachel. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. And a roll call?
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Michael R. Miller.
Yay.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Great, thank you. Our newly adjusted item G is to approve our district consolidated plan, all 40-some pages of it. If I could have a first motion, please.
First.
Thanks, Michael. And a second?
No second.
Thanks, David. And a roll call, please?
Michael R. Miller.
Yay.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes. Excellent. Motion's passed.
Motion's passed.
Item H is to approve Mrs. Denise Jones as our Arrow Governing Board Representative.
First, please.
Oh, I was gonna do the first this time. I'll do the second. There we go. So, thank you so much, Denise, for doing that.
Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes.
Yes, there we go. That would be the deal
Rachel
breaker.
Merrickwin.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Excellent. You are already awesome, so that's awesome. And item number I, the newly added, would be to approve the Mulcrone scholarships as we decided, for 300 for each, up to 300 for each student.
Yes.
So if I could have a first motion, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Rachel. And a second,
A second.
and a roll call.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
David Shepherd.
Yes.
Denise Denise Jones, yes. Michael L. Miller. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Excellent. Okay. Next, this is gonna be like an I.5. Can we applaud our new board members for their first official? And are returning, of course. So yes, I just wanted to appreciate you guys, so I appreciate, welcome aboard. You did great. Okay, so next we will recess to close session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or legal counsel to determine its validity. First, do I need a, yeah, I think I do. First motion,
First.
and a second,
Second.
and a roll call?
Okay, Michael L. Miller. David Shepherd. Lauren Dowden.
Yes.
Rachel Merrickwin.
Yes.
Denise Jones, yes. Colleen Clemzak.
Yes.
Closed session is passed.
Great, thank you. So we will we will recess 7:02.
Don't,
Don't, don't. Okay, nope, okay, nope. Early celebration, no, not gonna do it.
Through the finish line.
We will be returning and we will be taking action after, on the remaining action items listed on the agenda after closed session. You're welcome to stay, but it could be a bit. This is a public meeting, but we will not start back up the recording or the live stream. It's straightforward, but it's a long list, so
Eat cupcakes, right?
eat cupcakes, yes, that's a very good advice, that's always good advice. Very much for being here, I really appreciate it, so.